Hey guys, I'm thinking of doing daily videos on this channel, so if I get up to 10 subscribers, I'll be doing daily videos on this channel for you guys. So yeah, if you're new here, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new here, because then that means you might be in with a chance of seeing me daily. So, I'm going to be talking about telepathy today, because I'm a strong believer of it, actually. But I don't feel like it's the consciousness flying out, if you like. I would class it as having a sixth sense, if that makes sense. So like I mentioned in my last video, basically, when we die, I believe that we become whole. We become connected to the whole entire universe because our bodies disintegrate and then our consciousness flies around, and we're literally the whole entire universe, pretty much. We're literally connected to every fragment in the air. I'm not saying that that's the only thing I believe in, because I obviously, as I mentioned in my last video, I do pray, but I believe that consciousness can sense from afar, and also the fact that we all have the same kind of genes in us. Like, we're humans, right? So we all originate from each other, we all come from each other, right? Which means we must have a kind of like sixth sense, if you like, so that we can kind of like feel, or like even like just know what some other people are experiencing. Now the signs and symptoms of being telepathic is basically, have you ever had an image in your mind and then suddenly you go through the day and that image kind of makes sense? So maybe you had an image of maybe a teddy bear, and then suddenly, this is a stupid example by the way, and suddenly you walk up the town and you look through the window and there's a teddy bear in there. Maybe that was a sign in your consciousness that you should have gone into that shop because you thought of the teddy bear this morning, type thing. Now, if that happens, synchronicity is a big sign of telepathy. Now, I have had telepathic moments, and in fact I get them quite often, but the most prominent ones are kind of freaky. So I'll give you like one or maybe two examples. Basically, the first one I'm going to give you is the day that my auntie had a car accident. She was okay, so was my cousin, but basically this was years and years ago, and I suffer from OCD, and I believe that that is something to do with our brains. Well, it is something to do with our brains, but I believe that it's something to do with the consciousness as well, because I believe that the more terrible things that could happen during that day, with OCD, it comes out as obsessive compulsive, you know. So anyway, I had an awful picture in my mind of my auntie having a car accident, and with OCD those kinds of thoughts are, you know, usual. You get them on a daily basis, but usually it's about different things. So this one particular time I came home from school, this was when I was about 14 years old, so years and years ago now, but well, I'm acting like I'm like 80 now. I'm 19, but this happened when I was about 14, so that was like 5 years ago. God, it's weird saying that. So yeah, I came in from school and I started getting this thought that my auntie was going to have a car accident, and I was starting to really panic about it. And I don't usually get this panicked about something like that, but this was like, I had severe anxiety about this and I couldn't get my mind off of it. My mind literally would not change at all. I even like stopped. This is what made me really anxious, because I didn't do the compulsion. So I was like, oh my god, like, it's actually going to happen. What if I've just made that happen? What if she's actually had a car accident? And then I thought, if she has had a car accident, my uncle will come through the front door and he will tell me. And I don't know why I thought all of that, but my uncle came through the front door. He called me down and I nearly shat myself, because I was like, oh my god, my uncle never comes round, like, not this early, he never comes round this early, why is he here? Like, it was all running through my mind, and he said, Pulse. So I went downstairs and he was like, don't freak out. Then obviously I freaked out, because I was like, oh holy shit, like, I know what's about to be said. And he was like, Joe and Abs have been in a car accident. So at that point I was like, fuck, like, I know this. And then I literally went upstairs, and the first thing I did was all my OCD. I was like, well, fuck this, I need to just do my OCD, like everything's going to be okay, because he didn't know whether they were all right or not. I asked, are they all right? And he was like, well, I haven't heard back, like I just got told they were in a car accident. They both got whiplash and they both survived. Obviously they were both fine, they just had a bit of shock mainly. My auntie was the one who suffered most with her back, but she had like therapy for that, so it was all okay. But yeah, that was a day that I will never forget, and that's a day that's made my OCD worse and worse over the years as well. So there's stuff like that happens, and also stuff that I'm just genuinely afraid of. When that is going to happen on the day, I literally know that that's going to happen on the day. The things that I'm most terrified about happens when I think it's going to happen, yeah, and I actually get that really bad OCD on the day for that thing happening. That thing sometimes happens, and I don't want to trigger anyone with OCD, because OCD is horrible to deal with, and obviously I could be wrong, but I do think that not all OCDs are, you know, basically all OCD is basically anxiety, really, isn't it? Like, you get a thought and then you act on the compulsion. You're like, oh, if I don't do this, then I've got to, like, if I don't do this, then this will happen, so I have to do the compulsion, otherwise I won't relax, I won't be able to do anything. So yeah, OCD is like that. But basically, when I get these horrible thoughts, my OCD is usually the world's worst with a bad thought, when the bad thought is actually going to happen, if you know what I mean. So like, OCD in general usually doesn't happen. Like, I think, oh, if I don't do this, then my mum will die. Well, my mum's never died. You know, don't want to speak too soon, like, touch wood, like, I love my mum to bits, but basically I just get OCD about pretty much everything. But when these things are actually going to come true, my OCD gets extremely bad, and I have to like calm myself down, because I feel like my energy also directs bad things to happen. Like, I feel like my energy, my negative energy, when my energy is more negative, and if I can control my negative energy, I feel like my OCD is less likely to make things happen, if you know what I mean. So like, if I get a thought of, oh, my auntie could be in a car accident, if I get really, really bad OCD, the only way that will stop happening in my mind is if I calm myself down and do the compulsion, or just calm myself down. Which is extremely hard to do, and I'm getting better and better at it, but it's still something I struggle with on a daily basis, and it's 24/7, like OCD minds overwork, things like that. So that's just one example of telepathy. So the next one I'm going to give you is obvious, like I'm sure everybody has had it, deja vu. So I've had a few weird deja vu experiences, and the one being when I was about 12 and I was in school, and I was walking out of the school and my friend was telling me a story, and I said the rest of the story. Like, she was saying what she'd planned with her other friends, and I started saying everything else that she'd planned, because I thought she told me that before. And she literally froze and looked at me, and she was like, how did you know that? And I was like, I don't know, like, I just knew it, like, before you even said it, like, I knew you, didn't you tell me, or like. And she was like, no, I haven't even told anyone that, like, we made a plan, and it was, you know. And I never heard that from anybody. I just knew that that's what she was about to say. I knew literally every word that she was about to say. I was just putting her words out of her mouth, like. So that's very prominent in my memory, because that freaked us both out, and she didn't want to talk about it after that. She was like, that was just flipping freaky. And it was weird. And another one that I want to talk to you about is, basically, I had this friend that used to stay over, and one time I was walking out the room, and I thought in my head, I'll message you on Facebook when I wake up in the morning, and then I'll come in. That's what I thought in my head. I literally thought, as I was walking out the door, I thought that, and I never ever said that. And the next day, he come into the living room and he was like, did you say that you'd wake me up when you see me on Facebook in the morning? And I was like, oh my god, that is so fucking weird, because I literally thought that, but I was like, no, because I was like, oh god, what if he can read my mind? I don't want him like knowing all my thoughts. And if he thinks that he's just imagining what I'm thinking, then whatever. Oh, that was the weirdest one. I've got to be honest, that was the weirdest one. And he's quite a third eye person anyway. I think his third eye is open. Do you know, we talk about the third eye. Well, I don't like often talk about the third eye, but it's something that exists. It's like the pineal gland or whatever it's called in the middle of your head. You know, scientists has worked out that there's everything that makes up an eye there, just not the thing that makes an actual eye, if you know what I mean. So like, there's all the things that make an eye, but no actual eye. So that kind of gives you a sixth sense, but that's not like, they don't know that, but they know that there could be an eye there if there was like a few other components, basically. So that's another weird deja vu type thing that I've had. So like mind reading type thing, right? So yeah, deja vu, like telepathy, is a weird one. So there was one time I was in floristry. This was the most recent deja vu I remember. I have had other deja vus, but this was the second most prominent deja vu of my life. I can't even remember what it was over, but all I remember was my friend Shana said something, and I was like, oh my god, I've just had deja vu. It was like so prominent, like I just knew what she was going to say. I knew what she was saying when she said it, and I'd seen that before. It was like really, you know. So that was a weird one as well. So basically, thoughts, and if thoughts come true, like basically that's basically a telepathic thing. It's an obvious one. And deja vu as well is a telepathy thing as well, and also mind reading is also a telepathic thing. I'm trying to think of another one now. Gosh, I don't want to edit this video, so I'm just gonna have to quickly think of another one. So basically, I'd say another one is basically knowing when the weather is going to change. Basically, when the weather is going to change, in my family, we usually get aches and pains in our joints. There is a scientific way of saying this, like there are reasons why you could get aches and pains when the weather's changing, but the weird thing is I know whether it's going to get hotter or colder when I have aches and pains in my body. So that's the type of connection we have to the kind of universe, and just it's just so obvious that we all have this link to the universe, you know, and linking inside everyone. Like all we are is this thing inside our bodies, right? We are actually connected to everyone. Like we can, if we really, because we don't believe in things like telepathy, right? We don't fully understand it, therefore we don't fully believe it, therefore, you know, we can't do as many telepathic things as we could do if we believed in it. Like people that actually believe in something go through with it and try harder at things like that, and because we're so like tuned out of that kind of thing, like people that pray, for instance, reckon that sometimes it comes true, and I'm being one of them because I have prayed and things have come true. I'll give you an example of a prayer that's come true. Basically like normal prayers. Basically when I was in school, I used to pray that the assembly would be not on because I was feeling very anxious, and when I prayed those kind of prayers, usually they wouldn't be on. I'd also like to talk to you guys quickly about the fact that what's it called? So that like parallel universes, right? So with that theory, yeah, apparently we are everywhere. We're not just here. We're literally shifting through different universes. It's complicated, and even I don't understand it. But that can also give us telepathic powers, if you like. We are in control of our own future. we can think something and it can come true, but we have to truly believe in it. So, like, if you want to be a supermodel, if right now you're not in the right place of the earth, if right now, you know, you've got certain issues going on that stops you from being able to be a supermodel, I don't know, like what it, you know, you might not wash your hair every day, and not being rude or anything, but I'm just saying, like, there's certain things that supermodels have to be, and you have to go through different stages to get there. You can't go from one alternate reality to a completely alien alternate reality unless you truly believe that that's actually going to happen, because let's face it, we all, when we go to buy a lottery ticket, we all hope we're going to win, but we don't know we're going to win. We don't believe, literally know that we don't go in there with a load of money to spend like all our money on lottery tickets, like £300 worth of lottery tickets once a month, because that's just unrealistic. Like, you know, that's what we think it's unrealistic, but if we actually truly believed in it, it's more likely to actually come true. So that's also a way that telepathy can happen, because maybe that you think something's going to happen in the future, and because you truly believe that it is, especially people that suffer from anxiety, usually it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy with us, and like people that suffer with OCD may understand what I mean by that some of the time. So yeah, like people with anxiety and depression can pretty much like overthink so much that the overthink actually happens because you're absorbing more information, if you like. So yeah, there's another thing. Also dreams. I had a dream the other night which was really weird. I dreamt about someone. I won't say who she was, but she used to be in the same school as me. Like, obviously I'm not in school anymore, but she used to be in my class, my sociology class, and suddenly she followed me on Instagram that same day. And I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. Like, I dreamt about you last night. That is weird. And I was thinking, like, when I woke up as well, I was thinking, like, I should actually be friends with her. Like, she seems really nice. And, like, I just proper, like, thought about her, like, for a long time. And then I looked at my Instagram and I was like, oh, shit. She's added me on Instagram, like, 1 hour ago or something. So that's another way of telepathy, dreams. Also, this other dream, this is the one I wanted to talk about. So I had a dream, and this was a really vivid dream, that I worked in Costcutter up the town. And I truly believed that I worked in Costcutter, like there was no question about it. Like, I literally thought I worked in Costcutter. I was sat on a chair in Costcutter, and there was an upstairs in Costcutter, and that seemed completely natural. Like, I didn't even think about how there isn't one in reality. I just thought, okay, like, I just knew that it was there. Somebody I don't necessarily like worked there, and he walked downstairs and he said he got punched in the face in a fight, and I said, oh, well, the bruise on your face makes you look quite attractive, actually. I can't believe I said that in my dream, but yeah, I did. And yeah, like, that was just such a bit, I literally felt like, and like, he's the type of person that would get into fights, and there was like Simpsons chicken, and like people were walking out, and also somebody that I'm friends with worked in there too, and he's really lovely, and he worked up the stairs as well, but he was just leaving as the guy I don't like started coming in. So yeah, I that's how I believe. Also, in parallel universes, I believe that one is a parallel universe. And the same type, like a few days before that, I had another dream about, and this is what I believe to be another parallel universe, where me and my ex were together and very happy, and he was living in Helsham, which he lives in Barnham. So I dreamt that he lived in Helsham, and he was giving me a piggyback, and because I said my legs ached or something, and there was this woman who was walking the same way, and she suddenly said that she had had a sick bug, and I'm like petrified of sick bugs, and I dreamt that we went back to the old house that I used to live in, and he came back with me, and it all seemed normal. Like I just felt I knew that I lived there. Like I didn't even know I lived in the other house. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't live there anymore, but when I did live with my auntie, I lived in the big house. But before that, we lived in the house opposite that, and yeah, I just completely believed that I lived there, and my cousin was round, and it all seemed pretty normal. And yeah, it just seemed really normal. And another time I had a dream where there was a party, and my friend's little sister was there. She usually goes to the parties, and I dreamt that yeah, she was older, which she is now, and I dreamt, what else was it? Basically, I dreamt I got really drunk with my ex, because I dreamt that because again, I was dreaming that he lived there, like he lived with me. Because I keep dreaming he lives with me. And the next day, she followed me on Instagram or something. Like she popped up on my Instagram, and like I hardly ever see anything pop up on my Instagram of hers. And like it was the first thing I saw, so I was like, that's just flipping weird. Like things like that always happen to me that are like really weird, and I'm like, how is this even, like my mind like suddenly like realising that like the forces in the air of the things being sent over the internet. I don't know, but I'm just weird maybe. So yeah, they're just some signs of telepathy. I'm sorry that this has been a long video, guys, and this isn't going to be edited because I'm not editing on this channel. This is just a channel for people that want to listen to me rant, talk about random stuff, talk about things that are paranormal and stuff like that. That's what this channel is going to be about. Paranormal stuff and just like meditation and just being in with your spirit, basically, is what this is about. Basically knowing what happens after death, discovering things. If any of you discover anything, let me know in the comments, and also maybe just give me a suggestion on what to do a video about, and I will study it and do a video on it for you, because I like this kind of stuff. And I have so much to talk about, guys, but I just want to make sure that there is at least like one subscriber that will actually listen before I get too much into chatty, because it might be pointless, because maybe no one will click on this, but I hope people do. Anyway, I love you all, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.